Ugandan athlete Rebecca Cheptegei's attacker dies in hospital from burns sustained in attack. The man who attacked Ugandan runner Rebecca Cheptegei has died from injuries sustained when he poured petrol over the Olympic athlete, the Kenyan hospital treating him said Tuesday. Police say that Dickson Ndiema Marangach assaulted Cheptegei in her home in western Kenya on September 1st. The mother of two sustained 80% burns and died last week. In the course of the attack, Marangach also incurred 30% burns and was being treated in the intensive care unit at the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital MTRH in the Rift Valley city of Eldoret. It's true we lost Dickson Ndiema last night at about 8 p.m. An official at the hospital's communications department told AFP, requesting anonymity as they were not authorized to speak to the press. His family had been informed, the official said, adding that comprehensive statement would be released later. The attack of the 33-year-old Cheptegei has been greeted with sorrow and anger as yet another horrific example of gender-based violence in the East African country. At least two other athletes have lost their lives at the hands of their partners since 2021. Cheptegei is due to be buried on September 14th near her family home in eastern Uganda, according to the country's Olympic Committee. The attack, which local media said was witnessed by Cheptegei's daughters, came just weeks after she made her Olympic debut in the women's marathon at the Paris Games, where she finished 44th. Police said Marangach snuck into her house in Endebis, near the border with Uganda, while she was at church with her children. Her father, Joseph Cheptegei, told reporters this dispute with Marangach had been over the property where she lived with her sister and daughters. He told Kenyan media last week that Marangach had bought 5 liters of petrol then hid out in a chicken coop before the attack. He poured the petrol and lit her on fire. When she called her sister to help, he threatened her with a machete and she ran away. The police said the couple had constantly had family wrangles. Violence against women is widespread in Kenya, which saw 725 femicide cases in 2022 alone, according to the latest UN figures. The 2023 report by Kenyan National Bureau of Statistics found 34% of women had experienced physical violence since the age of 15. Cheptegei's death follows that of record-breaking Kenyan runner Agnes Tirop in 2021 and Kenyan-born Bahrain athlete Madaris Matua the following year. In both cases, their ex-partners were implicated in their deaths. Tirop's estranged partner, who denies murdering her, is on trial. In the meantime, Chinese medical teams deliver life-changing care across Africa. For Yang Jiadong, his 15 months experience of providing medical services on Africa's tropical island of Zanzibar was both memorable and meaningful. Yang, a surgeon from East China's Jiangsu province, led the 29th Chinese medical team sent to Zanzibar in East Africa's Tanzania from July 2019 to October 2020. The limited medical resources in Africa pose challenges for members of the Chinese medical team, but our mission to treat patients drives us to go above and beyond in elevating the suffering of the local people, said Yang. During his time in Zanzibar, Yang once saved the life of a young local man who suffered serious injuries in a traffic accident while riding a motorbike. The young man sought our help after local doctors were unable to treat his severe liver injury, said Yang, adding that the young man was saved after undergoing hepatic tamponade and suture surgery. As our medical team was preparing to leave Zanzibar, the young man made a special trip to see us and express his gratitude once again, Yang noted. Yang is among the thousands of Chinese doctors who have brought much-needed medical care to communities across Africa, especially those in remote areas. In 1963, China dispatched its first medical team to Algeria. Since then, successive groups of Chinese doctors have been serving in Africa, providing essential medical aid and services to local people. In Africa, I truly appreciate the deeper value of being a doctor, said Wu Mingtian, a doctor from central China's Henan province. He has provided medical aid in Africa for a total of 11 years, spending time in Eritrea, Zambia, and Ethiopia. So far, China has sent some 25,000 medical team members to 48 African countries, treating around 230 million patients and winning the hearts of the African people with dedication. The Chinese medical team has been deeply integrated into the daily life of the people of Zanzibar, said Nasser Ahmed Masrur, Zanzibar's Minister of Health, praising the Chinese doctors as true angels in white. Jizanen Tilaum, who hails from Ethiopia, will never forget how he was saved by Chinese medical team members after enduring a mysterious illness for over 2 years. The illness caused him to lose 21 kg and developed sallow skin and eyes, yet 4 hospital visits failed to identify the source of his pain. He was eventually admitted to the Armed Force Comprehensive Specialists Hospital of Ethiopia, where Chinese medical teams have been providing services. He was diagnosed with pancreatic tumor there. Despite the hospital's lack of experience in such surgeries, the Chinese doctors collaborated with local doctors to perform an 8-hour-long life-saving operation of Telaham, earning the recognition of the Ethiopian colleagues. My gratitude is beyond words. The doctors have given me a brand new life, said Telaun. Despite numerous challenges, Chinese doctors have continued to save lives, treat illnesses, and foster goodwill across Africa. In March this year, Zimbabwe's Vice President Constantino Chiwenga applauded the 20th Chinese medical team sent to the country for delivering efficient and effective health services to local communities and acknowledged the level and diversity of their expertise. Coming to serve in Zimbabwe entails a lot of sacrifice, which includes leaving their families and friends behind for a whole year. We cherish your unwavering commitment to save mankind, said Chiwenga in a speech at a ceremony to bid farewell to the team members. Meanwhile, who are the real human animals in the Gaza-Israeli war? Letter by Adil Ismail. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant said they were fighting human animals. The real question is, who is behaving like animals in the Gaza-Israel war? Dr. Mark Perlmutter, a humanitarian surgeon with 30 years of volunteering who has worked on more than 40 surgical missions in developing countries on 4 continents and volunteered at a Gaza hospital, said what he saw was unspeakable. Dr. Perlmutter said all of the disasters I've seen combined, 40 mission trips, 40 years, ground zero, earthquakes, all of that combined doesn't equal to the level of carnage that I saw against civilians in just my first week in Gaza. I've seen more incinerated children than I've ever seen in my entire life combined. I've seen more shredded children being crushed by buildings, the greatest majority, or bomb explosions. We've taken shrapnel as big as a thumb out of 8-year-olds, and then there's sniper bullets. I've seen children who were shot twice. No toddlers get shot twice by mistake by the world's best sniper, and they're dead center shots. It is twice nature to respect life and not to kill, not even a mouse. How can one live with oneself if you take the life of another human being? Have you ever thought about whether serial killers sleep peacefully? It is human for a sniper to shoot and kill innocent and defenseless children. What type of human being would do such an evil deed? Does such a living thing qualify to be called a human being when he has no respect for life? CNN reported that according to 2 eyewitnesses, on September 6, 2024, Aisnia Eki, a 26-year-old American activist who participated in a weekly protest against an Israeli settlement near Nablus in the West Bank, was shot in the head and killed by Israeli forces. Bearing in mind that on July 9, 2024, the International Court of Justice ruled that Israel's presence in the Palestinian-occupied territories is unlawful and called on it to end the building and expansion of Israeli settlements in the West Bank and East Jerusalem. Do these despicable actions reflect some insight into the absence of humanity in a typical IDF soldier? You be the judge. And lastly, World Suicide Prevention Day. Talking about suicide can help tragic and untimely deaths. Talking about suicide and difficult topics increases the likelihood of someone seeking help and reduces suicidal ideation. Having a conversation around suicide can help to provide alternative views for someone struggling to see beyond their specific existing circumstances, said Netcare Akiso's crisis line and marketing manager Megan Gonzalez. In a statement, Netcare Akiso raised awareness on suicide prevention, World Suicide Prevention Day on Tuesday. Akiso is a mental health care wing on the Netcare group, which provides tailored treatment according to a patient's needs. One call for suicide prevention could save a life, and that suicide may be an uncomfortable topic, but talking about it is very necessary as it can help prevent tragic, untimely deaths, the statement said. Ongoing awareness and public education to help reduce suicide rates and reach those who need professional support in time, Netcare Akeso said. Consults highlighted that suicide is complex and there is rarely a single deciding factor. However, depression, anxiety, and substance abuse, as well as interpersonal conflicts or a crisis, are often underlying risk factors. While some suicides are planned carefully months in advance, many appear to be impulsive and may be acted on within hours or minutes of being conceived. A study by a Harvard School of Public Health found that 1 in 4 survivors of almost lethal suicide attempts deliberated for less than 5 minutes before acting on the impulse, and a mere 13% of those interviewed had thought about suicide for more than a day, she said. Other studies suggest almost half of people attempt suicide within just 10 minutes of the thought entering their minds, while Australian research indicated 40% acted on suicide thoughts within the first 5 minutes, Gonzalez said. Netcare Akeso said that suicide accounts for approximately 700,000 deaths each year worldwide. For each suicide, there are an estimated 20 suicide attempts. In 2019, suicide was the 4th leading cause of death among 15 to 29-year-olds globally. It is estimated that 1 in 5 people have suicidal thoughts in their lifetime. South Africa is ranked in the top 10 countries by suicide rate, with 23.5 suicides per 100,000 people, and this represents approximately 14,000 suicides each year. The World Health Organization's goal for suicide is to decrease the rate by 1/3 globally by 2030. To achieve this, countries with high suicide rates must prioritize interventions as they are proven to be effective. Acting to intervene in the space of opportunity before somebody takes their life can be as simple as making a phone call. Netcare Akeso encouraged people not to hesitate to reach out to someone who may be at risk of suicide. Netcare Akeso highlighted 5 practical steps when you are concerned someone may be at risk. 1. Ask. Be direct in asking the person whether they are thinking about suicide or have plans to harm themselves. 2. Be there. Listening without judgment is key to understanding more about what a person is thinking and feeling. Remember, this is not an easy conversation for them either. You don't need to give advice, just listen and be there for them. 3. Help them keep safe. Don't leave the person alone. Where possible, reduce access to any harmful items or areas where suicide could be attempted. Asking the person if they have a plan can help to identify these factors and help keep them safe if suicidal thoughts occur. 4. Follow up. Stay in touch with the person after the crisis or after they have contacted a professional. Ongoing support is important to mental health and well-being. There are many resources and suicide helplines that can be contacted, including the Netcare Akiso 24 Hours Crisis Line on 0861 435 787 and the South African Anxiety and Depression Group SADC 24-Hour Suicide Crisis Helpline on 0800 567 567. Help guide the person to a safe place to support and, if possible, help them reach out to these resources. WhatsApp your view on this story at 071 485 7995. And that's it from Egypt, Africa. Stay tuned to our USA and political updates.